Oh, yeah.
Was the
Yeah.
turtle's hat also still a Confederate
I
hat?
don't know. That's a good question.
I don't remember, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, what color
Mm.
was the hat on the turtle?
Was it gray or blue?
I think it was just gray.
Gray, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That'll be, well, you know, depending on which state you're at, that is either a Confederate one or a, you know, it's the war is better known as the War of Northern Aggression. And they probably have a funny new name for that hat, too, at that point, so. That's a fun fact you didn't need to know about the world. Anyways, welcome to another bombastic episode of the Properly Typed Podcast. We're your hosts, Annabeth, Jill, Nathan, myself, Dylan, and we got Mason.
Yep.
On today's episode, whose movie is that again?
It was mine.
This one's Jill. Jill?
Again.
Yeah,
Again
I know.
for
God, the
Jill.
favoritism of this
We
wheel.
just pick one of everybody's movies, and you go on to the next person and do all of their movies.
I mean, we
No,
could.
because that just takes up the fun of spinning the wheel.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe Nathan fixed the wheel, so maybe we'll stop.
That's
We'll
true.
see.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see.
Imagine it's like the worst it's ever been now.
Yeah.
With it, and
Yeah.
it only lands on like a purple spot every
Yeah.
single time. Like
3
he
hours.
honed it in too good.
3 hours of gameplay, and we just find new characters to smash, love, or pass. So, Jill, tell us about The Rescuers.
It was a Disney movie. Came out in 1977 about a little girl who is forced into child labor and is rescued by mice
In the bayou,
in the
In the
bayou.
In the bayou.
Yeah.
which is like the most random setting. that really
It was a choice. I remember thinking, like, we start in the city, and it feels
Yeah.
very Five-O Goes West.
It starts out in like the United Nations
Right. The United
in
Everybody's-
airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
It was in New York.
It was
in New York,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so at least it was in the
It was
States.
the
Yeah.
Rescuer Society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The R.
Basically, yeah, it was like a
AG or
mock
something.
UN.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, sick idea, right off the bat.
RAS for Rescue Aid Society.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I guess it was RAS.
Yeah. it
Or
is.
RAS.
You tell me you can't just sing the song now?
Yeah. Sing the song for us.
Out of
Mason.
all of the music in this movie, that was probably the best one.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Which says a lot about the quality of all the rest of the songs.
And I remember all the other ones like chiming in. Like Turkey had their own little thing, and like
Mhm.
Pakistan was
Mhm.
jumping in.
And then Bianca just kind of rolls in.
Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
Romania?
It was,
She's
like a
Hungary.
little
Hungary, yeah,
it's a
Hungary.
small world kind of feel.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
hungry because she's a little bit thirsty for
Yeah.
Bernard.
I hear it. To be fair, have you met him? He just seems like a good old reliable. He's got dad bod for a mouse, and I do love that about him, even in the 70s.
Dude had the most like water boy sort of like approach to everything.
He
He
did.
wanted to be part of it, but he just couldn't.
No.
You know, he was a bench warmer,
He was out of his depths, but always hung in there.
but he loved the team.
Yeah.
Loved the team.
You ever seen high school football games where they're just wildly out of their league, but they just keep playing? You know,
Oh,
this is that's Bernard.
That's what his name was.
So anyway, we have to be exact, an orphan girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if that was mentioned.
Penny.
Go to the orphanage, so
Yeah.
I feel like you should put that together.
You don't know. Maybe she's visiting. Maybe she's got friends who live there. You don't know. Don't
Well, she does
degrade
have
the
a friend.
intelligence.
She's got a friend cat.
That's what she does.
Oh, the cat is so
Rufus
precious.
is pretty great.
Yeah.
I love Rufus. There's little mustache, whiskers, and his little scarf. I just want that cat so bad.
God, I sure wish we just had a cat.
She's pissed.
I know she's like,
I'm not
I
gonna.
don't think she's very Rufus-y.
I don't
No.
think she wants to be on the podcast.
no.
She looks
No,
so
she
comfy.
She would lose it if a child were to pick her up the way Rufus
Oh,
is
Oh
picking her
yeah,
up.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Like
That kid does not
the
know how to hold a
animation
cat.
of Penny picking up Rufus is just like somebody modeled this so accurately to the way a child picking up a cat looks. Like it was impressive.
A child
Yeah.
was sacrificed for an artist to draw that up, right? Because that cat just clawed through.
Got scarred for life for that.
Yeah, 100%. You can do that with Jean, our big cat Jean. She's a cuddler. No,
Oh.
not Claudia. She'll claw out of it.
Now I want to come over and like play with your cats
Yeah,
again.
I mean,
Miss your cat.
yeah. Jean, great. Claudia, she's okay.
Aw, she's sweet.
She's beautiful.
I
Anyway,
think she likes me.
yeah, just don't wear anything where her claws can get caught in it. Pro tip.
Fair.
Like your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't wear your
Or
skin.
Yeah, don't wear that. Just bones would be great. So anyways, we kind of kick off. So Madame Medusa, whose name I only remember because she is such a popular card in Lorcana, but
It's kind of fair. She is just Cruella number 2.
she is.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I compared it
They're
to.
like,
Yeah.
how can we get a little bit more trashier and a little bit more crazier, like you know, like Cruella.
Yeah, she's very much like the trashy version of Cruella.
Yeah,
100%.
Which I read somewhere that they didn't use any recycled animation for this, which surprises me because I could have sworn when she drove her car, that's just straight up.
Well, that's just the Cruella animation.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
It's
surprised.
very similar.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm sure, you know, that's probably an homage, is what they refer to it as, right? After the fact. I will say this, though, speaking to the animation of the film, it's been a long time since I've seen this, and seeing it as an adult, man, it still looks really pretty.
I like that.
Yeah.
It was
Looks
pretty.
pretty good on VHS still, too.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Well, you know, that's the best part about VHS. It makes everything look good because it's kind of hard to tell, you know? Like,
No. I mean, that TV's 4K, and watching
Yeah, but-
a VHS
but
on
we're
it looks
upscaling
fine.
VHS.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Watching a VHS
Hey,
in 4K.
here's the thing. VHS isn't pixels.
No, it's not.
It is images. So it's actually infinitely resizable compared to like a 20p
Yeah.
digital video.
If we took like a Sega Genesis game, it would look horrendous tossing up to 2K for that probably reason. But no, overall, like it is one of the times where you remember that you're like, I remember why Disney became kind of this big thing is because the animations
They
were
make
like,
good stuff.
yeah,
They make pretty stuff.
they make
They
pretty
made
stuff.
Very
good stuff.
simple
They made
stuff.
pretty stuff.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
simple.
I would
though,
say
yeah.
some of
Yeah,
their stuff
like-
is still
Okay,
good.
some of their stuff is, yeah, I'm just like, let's put that in past tense if we're talking about pretty animation.
Yeah.
I think kind of an interesting thing too, though, is having seen a lot of these older movies here again now. Simple stories.
Yeah.
Super
Very
simple, not
yeah,
very
stories.
long,
Doesn't
not
need
a
to be
whole
3
lot
hours.
going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you compare that to modern day, like, I think Frozen's the easiest one to point to. It's like the most popular modern day.
Every character has a plot.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot
like there's
going
a
on.
lot going on. Like there is so
Yeah.
much more of an aim in modern children's movies to like also rope in the adults now
Mm-hmm.
than
God
I
forbid
feel
these
like
parents
these
be
movies.
living in here, right? Frozen still had that figured out though. They killed those parents out on a boat where they belonged, you know. But we're all good parents go in child movies. But
That's how you end up with so many orphans.
It is, which is where Madame Medusa comes back into the picture, and she, you know what, Madame Medusa maybe in this universe that makes a lot of sense. I'm probably in the orphan churning business as well. If it's like,
The orphan
man,
churning.
these parents just aren't lasting, you know.
And that's kind of a good question too. Is like, what do you go for an orphan first? Like, if you're like, you know, I got this thing that I know is down this well.
I just need
I
an
just
orphan.
I just need little hands. I just need
Yeah.
a little person
The
with little
skinniest
hands
body
to
I
get
can
in there.
find.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if your approach is like, oh, I'll just kidnap an orphan and do it.
The dark humor, and I'm being very careful about my PC word language on this, is if I'm in New York City and I need a tiny person who I can, you know, finagle into that spot, a child probably is easier, but more high profile. And if I'm in New York City, I'm sure I can find somebody that fits that criteria. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the
Like-
catalog is more open.
yeah, like I would be, you know, I'd be grabbing like Wee Man from Jackass. I'd be
Yeah.
like, surely he'll do this for $20.
Also, like, no offense, but everything else down in that hole is like perfectly fine sized. Like,
Yeah.
they just
Is
needed
the
to widen
hole.
The hole
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
you know, they
Which,
could
if
have
you
just.
don't know how far down the rocks are close
It's
together.
true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really need to discount the idea that they needed a small person.
Yeah.
Like if it's a cave that's like a straight shoot down like that, you might
That's-
just need a small person.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't just make the whole. I mean, like, and here's the questions Disney doesn't want us to ask because it ruins the plot. It's like just make the hole bigger.
I mean, but
Well,
maybe
there
that would
again,
compromise the structural
I
integrity
mean,
of
for
the
sure,
cave.
that's
I mean,
obviously
just
consideration.
think
Maybe
of
they
the money
started
pit.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have they destroyed that trying to dig down into
Oh my
it?
gosh, are we
Right.
about to talk about the money pit in Oak Island?
Yeah.
Oh, watch out! Actually, no, just don't let me.
Can you give a small synopsis? I don't know what this is.
It's this cursed hole in the ground, and there's buried treasure inside, but
And it's
13
full of
people have to
traps.
die, and 12 have died. I don't know why I held up to
12.
12
This
people
many.
have died, so once one more person dies, they'll find the treasure.
Did they know that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's
Did
piled
they
up.
know
Well,
that
it's
from
like-
number
And there was
one?
this
The more
old
they try and
stone
open it up, the
and-
more things like crumble into
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Like it's a
So
whole
maybe there's
thing.
some backstory you didn't see where they tried to open up, it starts to collapse, they realize no, we just need a small person.
See, that would make more sense. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Chinese finger trap of treasure rings, right? Like, if you pull apart, you're never going to get out.
Which,
Yeah.
you know, maybe they could have put that scene instead of them going through the zoo for no reason.
Yeah.
The zoo scene, yeah, that's the only
There
thing.
was wasn't really much to the zoo.
There really wasn't.
wasn't?
If when we get to fat, thin, perfectly fit, I'm like, that's the only part that feels fat. Is that
Yeah.
just nothing happened there. There was no reason for that scene.
I could almost say the same thing of them whenever they land in the bayou and they find the Kentucky Moonshine family.
No, I like them. They're
no, but
great.
then they come in
No,
later
but
and
you
help.
need
They
you
do.
need to establish you have to make contact with your local
Yeah. Your local
contacts,
agents,
Yes,
right.
They come back for the big fight at the end.
They do.
And I like them a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're not fun. I'm just saying, like, relative to the story up to that point,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right,
How
well,
else they gonna get Evinrude to drive them around?
And-
the
and
island?
there it
Rude
is,
was
yeah.
my favorite character.
that's not surprising in the least
He
bit to
was
me.
the best.
Like Evinrude's a type of engine for
Which I did
boats.
not know that.
Like
That's
that's,
not-
that's,
that's
a
news to me.
boat
I didn't know
engine
that.
brand.
Oh no, he's a
So-
dragonfly. And
Yeah.
that's like
32
dragonflies.
years, didn't know that. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah.
Fastest boat on the bayou too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Which I would believe dragonflies.
Is
are
that what the
fast.
big fan? Is that what that thing's called?
No,
Oh.
no, it's like a brand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they make airboats?
I don't know.
Good question. Let us know in the comments below if you know if they make airboats.
Yeah. This
Mr.
episode is
Evinrude
sponsored
himself.
by
But-
Evinrude.
Yeah. So did you know that it was a a boat motor brand? We either, but
At least I'm like 99% sure it's that or something
Is
quite
their-
close
is their
to
mascot
it. It's
a
like an Evan
dragonfly?
something.
I
That
should
better be.
They better
Oh my
change
gosh.
it to it.
Oh,
If
that'd
their
be sick.
mascot's a dragonfly, that
can
would
we all get dragonfly tattoos now, like with a boat?
The group with the
Yeah.
dragonfly tattoo.
Right.
Yeah.
Dragonfly
Evinrude.
pushing just
Yeah.
a regular human
Yeah,
boat.
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is a boat engine type.
Well, if you were wrong, I would just would have told the editor to put a note that says Nathan's wrong. It's this. You know.
Yeah, we know the editor would have put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan Long, more like Nathan Wrong.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
So I guess like the next follow-up question is obviously like it's a simple plot. You know, the kid gets into trouble, the kid gets rescued, the kid gets adopted. You know, like that's kind of like the main character beats there, and then you know Bianca and Bernard go smash it out in the UN.
Globe-trotting.
Yeah, a little bit of
gotta
globe-trotting.
fly on an albatross.
Yeah, the albatross. That's my favorite.
Mhm.
I love that in both movies with the
Who was
albatrosses.
the voice actor for that?
I don't
And I
remember.
wonder if it was the
I'm not
same
sure.
one between
It's
this and The Rescuers Down Under. I thought
Is
so
it
because
not?
I remember hearing the voice in this one and thinking like, isn't it like John Goodman or something?
No, it's in neither one. It's Johnny Goodman.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know the guy who plays Orville, but Wilbur's played by a very popular comedian who I also can't remember the name of.
Man, we really need to have all our facts all together on this
You
one for
guys
all
are
the
good at
trivia.
like, people names.
He's looking it up.
I would need to hear it and actually know who
I
it
mean-
is. Me and Mason can probably get there
Wait,
if we
no,
were like,
I don't
oh,
know
it's this
that.
character from this
Mhm.
movie. Anyways, while they're looking it up and doing riveting content per usual, Jill, talk to me a little bit about what was your motivation behind picking The Rescuers? Something we don't ask enough in this podcast
Ooh,
when we
that's-
talk about movies.
Like specifically this movie, or this
Yeah.
movie over Down Under.
Both.
Both.
For picking it over
Nice.
Down Under, I assumed everyone had seen both movies, which apparently I was wrong because Mason doesn't like Disney.
You knew
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
You knew better.
He hasn't seen a Disney or a Star Wars.
I didn't know. But having gone years and years just assuming, knowing that Down Under is the more loved, the superior
It is the
movie,
better film.
I kind of want to pick the other one because I remember that one also being really good.
Mm.
So I want to
I
like
see.
John
have it
Candy.
be appreciated.
Oh.
Unless you guys hate
Yeah.
it, and then it won't be appreciated.
But that's not in this one. That's in the
That's the
other
next one, yeah.
I gotcha.
As far as like where I picked this movie overall, I don't know. I had like a list of like 15 different movies, including Deep Blue Sea, which I was.
Hell yeah, Deep Blue Sea!
If my movie hadn't have been picked this time, I was gonna actually change
Change
it,
that
but
one,
then it
too.
landed on the movie, so I was like, well, I guess we're watching The Rescuers.
Nice.
I'm glad we did. I like the Rescuers.
I'm gonna save my feelings about Deep Blue Sea in case that may be one of my slices.
If you invite me on
Yeah.
again, I promise I'll put Deep Blue Sea on the wheel.
I don't know if I can invite you to a podcast that you're a permanent host on currently, so...
Oh,
Yeah.
permanent
We got a
host.
promotion.
Yeah. And that offer was made on video. We have proof
You
now.
just contractually like.
We have a
you know.
contract.
Well, as soon as they can find the paper contract, I'll sign
This
it.
is our podcast
And then I just
now.
eat the paper contract. Never happened.
I just had really fond memories of both Rescuers movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this one, I feel like doesn't get appreciated because everyone loves Down Under so much more.
True.
This one's just so short.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like the
It is
Rescuers Down
short.
Under has a little bit more going on, a little bit more interest with like your villains and stuff too. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of the like step towards where movies ended up, where it's just like there's
It was also
that
made
kind of
like 23 years later.
Oh, right. The Rescuers Down Under was made in the 90s,
Yeah.
so it was in the 90s,
Mhm.
like the
Right.
Disney Renaissance.
I mean, and I think that has to do with a big part to, I mean, your point, right? This is more of a snack movie, but I think still it does a good job enough for being a snack movie to be able to leave an impression still, because I think when I think about older Disney movies, they are stuck in that, like, they're, the older, especially princess films, right, which is, I mean, most of the Disney films, but, you know, I think about, like, oh, what's the notable scene from, like, Cinderella, and it's, like, the little ball gown black, like, drop it from, like, the dress twirl into the big magic moment.
Mhm.
Then if you ask me to remember anything else, I'm like, I don't know, there's like a foot fetish thing going on throughout the film, and that's kind of it, you know? So I think the plots were simple, but they had...
Cinderella is a beautiful movie. Her running through the big giant palace.
Mm,
And also,
that's a really
like,
pretty scene.
The scene
Beauty
with
and
the
the Beast in
stepmother
bigger
where you
palace
just
is
see
better.
her eyes in like the window frames making a prison around Cinderella is a very beautiful cinematic piece.
I'm sure.
When I think of
But
Cinderella,
I really like
just think
Cinderella,
of
but
the
I didn't
chariot.
make the boys watch the princess movie. I picked a slightly less girly.
Bianca's not a princess?
But if you want princess content, head over to our podcast about Disney live action remakes, and we talked about Cinderella, I'm pretty sure, like years ago.
Maybe
I like-
by the time
I like
this
that they said
airs, there'll
talked.
be another
Talk.
one on
Past
there.
tense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, could you imagine that? Another piece of content on their channel?
Wow!
Yeah.
Imagine content on that channel in
Imagine.
2024.
We like to have our breaks being as long as certain like sequels, like 23 years.
23 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's good.
You'll get a couple of those in your lifetime, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah, surely there'll be a, like, I don't know. There's going to be another remake of Cinderella by then, so, you know, they'll
Mhm.
just...
Oh, yeah. And
They'll
then
They'll
we'll
be
come
just,
out
a
every other
couple
week.
deep at that point, yeah.
I actually only want you guys to pick one movie moving forward now, and just anytime it remakes or any
Just do
variations
that
of it,
movie.
just that one
yeah.
movie. It's like eight, like maybe 3 or 4 videos on the whole
They
channel.
definitely shouldn't do Cinderella because those come out like every other week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so
Another
many
adaptation.
Cinderella.
You guys would be so busy.
Man, we've got to start our podcast.
Ah, look at them trying to get out of the
That's
podcast.
so
They
fun.
just, sorry girls, I contractually signed you for at least a couple more years.
Yeah,
So
we can't work on our other one.
Yeah.
Clearly, we have a non-compete.
the non-compete, and last I checked, those are legally still
yeah,
viable.
I'm
so.
pretty sure those are no longer legal at all.
No,
Yeah.
it's still, you got
Also,
challenged in Texas
I think
courts.
Totally
I
want to
think
show
they'd
the
be
podcast my
in
cool
various
cup.
Southern states.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
the southern states, I'll
Look
tell you,
at
they
this.
rose up.
Mhm.
They did what they do best, which is prevent us from making progress. Anyways.
Look at this! Look at this! I was showing the podcast my rescuers.
I will say that if you just turned the Bianca one, it just looks like she has like a big strap
just
on
said-
with the.
well,
No, it's a
It also
bottle!
I-
just-
but-
Oh my God,
right? It's,
yeah.
it's a big bottle penis for Bianca.
It's-
Or it looks like she might be like riding like something.
That's
you know.
true.
That-
Yeah.
That bottle is not accurate to the size of the
Well,
bottle in the film.
It's
No.
really
It's
not.
far
because
away.
Bernard was
Inside
inside
the
the
bottle.
It's
Yeah,
far
it's-
away.
That is not
Can,
far
can
away.
Bernard get inside of
It's just far away. That's all.
That doesn't make any
Also-
sense. That perspective does not work.
That was
Fun
not the-
fact:
the letter.
the letter on here is spelled correctly,
Yeah.
and in the movie,
That is
she
very
spells
clear.
terribly because she's a small child.
Because she
Why
is
did-
an
why did
idiot
they-
child.
They fixed Penny's writing.
I
Yeah.
know.
Well, and they also resized it to be mouse size there too.
I know.
Like everything
And she's
about this
actually
is
holding
highly
that.
inaccurate.
This
You
is
know
going
what?
to Mandela affect a whole generation
Yeah,
of people in
that's
rescuers.
true.
Also, I don't think she wears a blue coat.
No, it's purple. Also, yeah, can we talk about the fashion in
Oh,
this
it's purple.
film? Because these mice are dressed
Was she-
so cute.
Was she wearing fur?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
she
yeah,
was
so
at
you
one
just
point.
Think
was
about
she
what
wearing?
fur.
That's-
the only thing I could think of while I was seeing her.
Typical Hungarian behavior.
yeah.
About that. Mouse wearing fur.
Bernard in the yellow raincoat with the rain hat is
The raincoats were so cute.
pretty solid, and I'm
Her
actually
little
really
scarf
glad
and her little-
that does have a Lorcana card. That one is actually a Bernard card.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a card of that?
Yeah, here I'll pull it up while you're doing it. I'll entertain it. But no, that's the best outfit he has in the whole movie. So.
Oh, yeah. It's a great outfit. I also like his little hat.
Do you like it more when? Because there's a whole genre of mice wearing clothes.
I love mice wearing clothes.
Do you prefer it when they're wearing clothes that are definitely just like human clothes shrunk down to their size? Or do you prefer it when it's like they've taken this material from the human world and like kind of made their own? Like as if when they have the umbrellas, those are just human umbrellas, but if they had used like
Oh, yeah.
little
That's
cocktail
fun.
umbrellas, do you like that more?
I do. So one thing I love about the anthropomorphic mouse
he has a
genre
card.
is that's
Yeah,
precious.
it's fun,
Does
right?
Rufus have a card?
Oh, Rufus
Are you
needs a
sure?
card.
Pretty sure.
Anyway, one thing I love about the
One of the
anthropomorphic
cats does, but
mouse
it's not
genre
Rufus, so.
is seeing how they use normal-sized human objects to be like different objects in Mouse World. Like
Stand corrected.
when
Doesn't
Yeah.
Bernard,
Like in
Pretty
Martian,
sure.
What?
He's
the
a non-play
seashell.
card. Alright, not stand
the
corrected.
seashell,
What's his name?
What?
Marcel the seashell.
Marcel the
Marcel the
Shell,
Shell?
It's the same thing. He
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
like how Bernard used the comb as a ladder to climb up to the bottle, or
Which I will say, there's a lot more of that better done in the Down Under movie.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch that.
There's a
Because-
whole scene of them picking up a pea that's fallen out of a soup and like making it into pea soup.
Yes! Oh, I love that scene.
Yeah, I
Oh
will
my
say I
gosh.
do typically find a lot of enjoyment from seeing, like, the Toy Story world perspective, so to speak, of like
Mhm.
when they take small things and they make them feel like
Mhm.
Yeah.
utensils, right?
Oh yeah.
Like Toy Story, obviously, I think hammers it home really well. Down Under does a better job.
Honey,
in
I
this
Shrunk
one.
the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, a lot of it. Five Goes West, which.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of that stuff that was
gosh, I
really
love mouse movies.
cool and physically represented at Disney World back in the day.
I believe that.
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. We used to have a playground there.
Oh, that's
that would've been
pretty
neat.
cool.
Could you get eaten by an ant?
No, but there was a giant ant. Yeah.
Oh, alright.
I don't remember if you could climb on it or not. They also had like a
Well, you can
movie
always
theater
climb on
where
it.
you got shrunk down in the theater, and like the guy from the movie is picking you all up and be like, "Oh no, I shrunk the audience."
Yeah.
it's
That's
pretty fun.
I really want to go on the Ratatouille ride because it's like
Well,
that, isn't it?
so that's exactly what I was thinking of talking about, like
Uh-huh.
things being large
Scale,
comparatively.
right.
The Ratatouille ride is like the scale is immense. Like
Yeah.
things feel so huge in that space.
Is it
like,
just
it's
like all you see is
crazy.
like orange hair in the way? Like you
Oh
know?
no, you're not. You're like you're down. You're down at like mouse level,
At the
like
kitchen
trying
levels,
to
probably.
avoid danger, like under like under cooking stoves and stuff,
Oh,
like the
that's
heating
fine.
elements up above you. And
Okay.
it's,
I have to go back to Disney World. I want to be a rat.
Does she want to be a cat or does she want to be a rat? Let us know in the comments below what you think. Which Annabeth would make best.
We haven't talked about the music.
The music doesn't need to be talked about.
Okay,
I
I mean, it's not out here trying to be a musical.
It's not.
It's
No.
just, it's not.
it's just background accompaniment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just your standard stuff from this era of cartoons.
Yeah. More of a
I-
score. Yeah.
I feel like I've like just always made aware whenever you guys bring up the music of stuff of how little I actually pay attention to the music
Mhm.
of movies.
Yeah.
Like unless it's like a song,
Right.
I don't really pay any attention to a score. Except for
The Fountain.
The
Yeah.
Fountain,
I was gonna say,
Fountain
if you hit it,
slaps.
the Fountain is a banger.
The Fountain, the
soundtrack.
moment I hear the beginning of any of those songs, I'm like,
Whoa.
it's a Fountain.
Yeah.
Like, that's from the Fountain.
No,
like,
I-
it's just an orchestral. I know.
And I think that's fair though. I think there's a couple scores that stand out overall. I mean, there's a couple things here and like I don't know. I think like the Batman or something like that is like a very notable score. But
Yeah.
but there are scores that feel like that they're characters in the film, and then there are scores that exist because they're just another part of the movie.
This is basically one step away from the type of scoring that you would have in Scooby Doo, where it's just like the music is there just to accentuate like the
Right.
movement and action of the movie.
Mhm.
It's like the kind of thing where it's like they watch it and just like play along to what they're seeing on the screen.
Which I
almost.
like. I love when they use music literally as sound effects. Like when
Mm.
he's climbing the ladder, it's just like music
Old school
notes.
Disney was really good about that.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten away from that in a lot of
They need to
times.
bring it back. I like.
Aristocats still holds the favorite one for that because the piano.
Yes. Oh, I love the
the-
Aristocats.
That one hit.
Well, I think
Mhm.
part of the reason for that not really being a thing so much is you've got way too many like cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like you've got a Foley department that
Mhm.
wants to do Foley. They don't want to be replaced by an orchestra doing all the music instead.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got too many people that want jobs, and because of that, you're not really going to be able
do
to
Foley in
simplify
any
it.
other movie.
Yeah, you're still gonna need Foley artists, even if you also have the score in there partially, because you're not gonna just not have any sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
Usually. But, I mean, Disney, with all their money, I mean, they should be able to, they'll pay their workers fair, right? Right?
I like there has to be such a scheme going on in the world all over the place these days, because the number of places where it's just like, oh, their employees are being paid terribly, but somehow they're spending $400 million on Concord, and then
Okay, that got
pulling the
debunked,
plug.
but I continue wanting to spread that rumor because it's really funny to me. Yeah.
I mean,
Check out our video game podcast for more information on Concord.
Even if it's the more realistic $200 million,
It's still-
that's a lot of money to have spent on something.
on a game that immediately got shut down 3 weeks after being released. Anyway, more of that for next
fully
time.
refunded.
And fully refunded. Yeah, they knew it
Oh.
was bad. Yeah, that was bad. So, shape of the movie. Do we wanna stay a fit podcast and carry on, or is there any final thoughts on this one? Not actually Down
I
Under.
think we haven't talked about the movie very much.
I know.
I mean, in fairness,
I
There's
kind of
not
feel
a
like we
lot,
haven't.
but-
here's what I haven't mentioned.
What about the gun violence?
the gun violence is,
Or the alcohol use.
or the alcohol use. The Disney doesn't want us to talk about it.
I mean, that really sells you hard on the idea of drinking moonshine as a kid.
yeah, you know what they're like.
If your
Moonshine's
dad's
never
got
looked
a
better.
triple X jug sitting in somewhere
take
in
a
his
swig.
kitchen,
Mason,
just
this movie
like,
is
go
for
ahead
you,
and get
right?
powered up.
They're the best part.
Yeah.
I do love the animation of people's eyes when they're drunk. In not just this movie, but a lot of old Disney movies and old movies in general. Just that animation of just like the crazy eyes.
I will
It
say,
just cracks me up every
having
time.
drank moonshine before and it gave me an ulcer, that's probably how my eyes looked whenever that happened. So
Yeah.
I apprecight the realism behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mason, how was your dad's moonshine? Because I just know he had some at some point.
I hated that stuff.
he
There's no way.
was like, whenever I was 7 and he'd give it to me when I had a cough,
But-
it was miserable.
Well, but I mean, it is weird though that he had moonshine down there because like that stuff is normally made in the hills.
Yeah, not necessarily in the
And they're in the
bayous.
bayou, so like.
How
you
dare they
don't-
appropriate our culture?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Moonshine's more of like a West Virginia. I mean, I guess maybe in Mississippi. that you
Yeah,
could
the
probably-
Appalachians, you know,
Yeah.
that's our
Yeah.
moonshine.
You know what? There you go. There's my little takeaway. Like, why
Yeah.
was it moonshine? It didn't have to be. Was it even though?
We don't
It
know.
They didn't
it
say
didn't-
that.
it
It
just-
wasn't
I
that
think
jug.
it just had like 3 X's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
your,
just
your
insinuated.
typical like
Typical moonshine.
alcohol.
Yeah.
jug.
Alcohol. Yeah.
It was your
okay.
typical sexy alcohol jug, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, but I mean, every person, every little critter down there
Right.
was wonderful.
I still hold to my favorite being the bird. I don't know, that the carrier just, I don't know, it warms my heart. Something about him.
And the fact
Well,
that
I
it was
think
like
it
a
is.
little anchovy can, was
Yeah.
it? Like as
That was
the
attached
seat,
to
and then
him.
they roll it over them as the seat belt.
I always
Another
thought that was neat.
prime example of excellent mouse culture.
Mhm.
Someone's thinking a lot
Yeah.
too. I mean, to think about like, well, mice are kind of the same size as anchovy cans. Like
I
they
think you could easily have somebody that spends their whole life just thinking about things like that.
Yeah.
just
and I
get
think
paid a
you
lot.
have them sitting right there.
Yeah. Annabeth, did you miss
And
an
they do it
opportunity?
for free.
Yeah.
They would-
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to pay
Ideas,
her.
free ideas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a free brain for mouse ideas.
Yep.
You know who loves that? Disney.
There you go.
I wish you edited things
Yeah.
because I just want that caption
Yeah.
under me. Free brain for mouse
Can
Can we
ideas.
make that her video resume moving forward?
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, that's the only other thing I would comment really quickly on the plot is what you mentioned is that, you know, there's got to be a bigger scheme going on for all this movie to be going on. And I would say, yes, there is. There's an orphan grinding scheme behind the scenes where you're churning through them, and I don't know how to get in on it. But I think it might have been done only in the 70s. It might have gone out like the stock market,
Yeah.
you know? So,
What about when the mice were like, oh hey, have you ever seen this girl? Blah blah blah. You know, she's yay big, whatever. And Rufus was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. And then he was like, yeah, she just didn't show back up one day. He's like, oh wait, it couldn't have been that crazy couple. And then like they had to like pry it out of this cat. They were like, wait, let's go back to that crazy couple right before she
He
vanished.
knew it'd be a HIPAA violation.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
like,
like,
this
Mason-
cat was part of it.
Yeah.
This cat.
You think the
knew
cat was in on it?
something,
You think he's
yes.
like, oh, the cat. Yeah, but then he's with her
Yeah,
later.
it's just
so
like,
what
yeah,
do you do?
Penny ain't gonna pick me up no more.
I hate
Yeah.
that bitch.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like Rufus was in on it.
Rufus the cat was a traitor all along to the
If Rufus was like Theo energy, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. the orphan
Theo
trade
would
industry.
do that to an orphan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most cats would. They just don't have that.
Vengeful.
Rufus would never. Rufus was so nice.
He's way too ragged.
Let us know in the
Sweet
comments below what you
cat.
think. Do you think Rufus would sell a child?
Yeah.
Was that stash actually a pedo stash?
That's true. More of that for later. Let's get in the Fat Then Perfectly Fit. Annabeth, kick us off.
It's fit. It's a really short movie. I know I said that the zoo scene was really like superfluous, but it gave them an excuse to wear the cute raincoats, so I'll accept it.
Mhm.
It's fit.
Hmm.
Jill,
The zoo scene makes it fat.
Wow.
but the raincoats.
unnecessary. That was the only scene that's both like unnecessary,
It is unnecessary.
not very funny.
There's a
Doesn't
chase
add
scene for
anything.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's
if you just cut that scene out, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's thin.
Mm.
Movies, like, whenever I'm pointing out like how these really old movies are very light on their story, I
Mm.
don't think that's a good thing.
Mm.
I think movies like this could benefit from some aspects of modern storytelling. I mean, everything's not been a knockout over the last 20 years, but I do think having more complex stories has been good, and this could have benefited from a little bit more time. Like the speed with which like they arrive on the scene, get to the place, and then almost immediately it's like, oh, hey Penny, we're gonna escape like tonight, right
Mm.
now. Like the speed with which like this and We're Back occurs
Mhm.
is like we're talking not even 2 days
Yeah.
in world, and
Yeah.
this is done and wrapped.
Well,
I will say it is a children's movie. So is We're Back, but I wanted more from We're Back.
right.
Whereas this one is just like a simple story
Yeah.
where it's fine.
I'm gonna go with Nathan saying it's thin. Although I will criticize the zoo scene for being a chase scene that nobody wanted, in the same way that when We're Back, the chase scene in that movie was one that most people didn't want. And if I had to pick, here's my question really quick:
The chase scene was funny.
the chase
Using a truck
as
as,
a
a
skateboard is sick though. Yeah, it's unnecessary, but they have some of the best moments in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so We're Back at least does it well, where this one, respectfully, just does not bring it the same way. And I think another reason why I'll have to like lean thin is just that like we have Down Under as a perfect metric for saying, okay, now what if there was more to this movie? Would you like it more? And everybody was like, yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to give it anything but a thin, in my opinion. Mason.
I'm gonna agree with Jill.
Fat movie?
Yeah, it was just the zoo scene. Yeah, fat. Super. No.
Yeah.
Just that
So
zoo
overweight.
scene.
Yeah.
And plus, that was like right out of the gate. Like as soon as they like departed from the UN, they just walked into the zoo, right?
Yeah.
That's correct. And it was raining, and
Right.
you didn't even see the lion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that. Like
Animate the lion, you cowards.
Well, like, that's the thing where it's just like I didn't want to like say like maybe I wasn't looking up at the moment. Maybe there's a brief flash of it and I missed
just
it.
wasn't there.
You
No.
just don't see
It's
the
just
line
not
at
there.
all.
Give
to
us
be
the
fair, I didn't know they were in the zoo until you guys said that.
Yeah.
But I knew exactly what scene you were talking about
Well,
because
they
he
say
ran
they're going
away.
to a zoo.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to
Oh,
indicate they're in
okay.
a zoo.
Yeah,
but they
she
say
says
Why
like,
did they
oh,
even?
let's cut to
Oh,
the zoo.
yeah, because it was a shortcut to go
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the zoo.
I guess
that's
the
why.
point was to like show character stuff of she's totally willing to just kind of do whatever, whereas
Yeah.
he's more scared.
Yeah, he's,
No.
he's a little bit more cowardly.
But I don't think that's like a good
it's a
way
growing.
to show those characters.
Give us the lion cut, you cowards. I want to see it.
Maybe they were out of money.
I don't know.
If
Disney.
anything, like sure that part was a little bit fat, but I will say there was a lot of room for expansion in this, because even at the very beginning when you were just thrown into this mouse culture, I would have loved like more characters and like more like the song. They had like a whole poster about like they were like band-aiding a lion
You want
paw.
a prequel story of
the
the
lore
Yes.
is good now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I
the
would
classic
love-
mouse and the lion
Mhm.
story.
Yeah.
Like the wooden chip and the pulling that out. Like
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah,
That was
right.
some good establishing lore. It would be good if there were more of that.
Yeah.
I want the
Yeah.
full story of like the Continentals that exist in like the John Wick universe via the Rescuers, you know? Because there's clearly like it's like an organization that's like across the globe. There's got to be some cool Hitman
Wait,
lore in there.
So
like,
so are the mice that are in the UN, are they the agents?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
At least that's
Well,
what
They're both
So
the
it's-
agents
so
and the
the,
government.
so the
Seems
thing
to
is,
believe.
it's not actually the UN.
It's not
It's
the
like
UN.
a
It's
not the
rescue
UN.
society.
Yeah.
But like, do
These
you
are
really
just-
see that Pakistani or like the Turkish like mouse that's got like all of the garb on, like actually
Sure.
rescuing?
If he's going to the if somebody's rescuing in the desert,
He's the mouse.
He's the man.
Yeah.
Which is weird that they
I feel like
said-
they need to have
Probably
agents.
When
Yeah.
they send
The Down
there's
Under.
different-
Yeah.
So there's different species of mice too, and there are
Yeah.
desert mice
Mhm.
in this universe.
in
both
our
in the universe and in our
which is-
world.
Yeah.
world.
And in the rescuers
Yeah.
universe.
Yes,
Yes.
because in Rescuers Down Under, there's a kangaroo rat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
Okay.
He's
So-
like the
So it
best.
does expand
Yeah.
on it a
Yeah.
little bit. You just need to flush it out.
You remember how
Watch
your
the
favorite
second
part
one.
of Kangaroo Jack was the kangaroo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's,
movie
it's,
is so disappointing.
I'm sure it's awful.
it's the same thing in the Down Under.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know the trailer part of Kangaroo Jack?
Mhm.
That's the only part you're gonna see the.
Well, I've
Yeah.
seen it before, but I don't remember it. I'm sure it's god awful now. I'm sure it's Anthony Anderson
Disney,
just doing crazy stuff.
why did you animate? Or I know Disney didn't do Kangaroo Jack, but why did you not animate the lion and you let these people animate Kangaroo Jack?
Mhm.
That's my question.
Yep.
Anyways, let's get in the scores.
Okay.
Mason.
This movie was fine. I thought it was kind of just like an episode length of something that, you know, like Nathan said, man, you just feel like you looked away at certain points and you might have missed a couple things. Well, no, they're just shooting through it. I mean, they are
Literally.
Yeah,
Blasting.
yeah. And if you guys want to take it into 3 parts here, the middle part sucked. I hated the middle part. I didn't think it was very fun. The
What's
first.
What's
What do
the
you
middle
consider
part?
the middle
So that's
part?
what I'm trying to
Probably
to
the
separate
zoo,
it.
the orphanage, the
Yes. Yes.
and then
The
getting to the fly.
flight,
Yeah.
Penny
The
escaping
I hated
and
that
getting
bird.
captured by
I actually
the
really didn't like the
crocodile.
bird.
Wait, you
I
hated
love
the
the
bird?
I didn't like the bird.
I found him very charming.
But as soon as they get to the bayou,
Mhm.
stuff starts happening and it's fun again. And it's
Okay.
like
That feels about right.
yeah.
That's like the middle.
I mean, that's definitely the last third, and then the first third, like I said, is you just thrown into this world. I mean, yeah, it's not perfectly parted, but yeah, I don't think that the middle part was all that fun, and they could have explored a little bit more and made a lot of those parts fun. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I think that this movie's still like it's a 6. Like it's fine. I don't love the music. Was not. I paid attention to the music this time because I was geared up for a conversation
Yeah.
about how good the music was.
Uh-huh.
Thank you guys for not having me fight that battle. I thought it was
Nope, just
not that it was terrible.
it wasn't bad. It just wasn't
It
noteworthy.
just wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had one song by Penny like lurched over looking at the water or something, singing to herself.
Price would have been like, it's trash. Why is it even here?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you could
Yeah.
really critique it, I guess, but to me it was just
Yeah.
nothingness. But yeah, I don't know. I might actually end up watching the second one. Is it as short?
It's
a
a
little
little bit
I
longer.
think it's a little bit longer.
Probably like
Definitely
another
feels-
It's also
15, 20
better.
minutes. Yeah.
It's a lot funnier.
There's more stuff going on in the film. I'll put it that
Mhm.
way, right? The middle
I mean,
kind of
we
just
can
feels
put it
like
on,
weird.
like,
Villain is
right after
way
we
more
finish this podcast.
interesting.
Yeah.
The villain's henchman is way more interesting.
Oh, I
Yes.
love Joanna so much.
Yeah.
The cards aren't as good though.
Yeah.
I mean, so far, I don't think they've made a jump.
It can all be
I will
bangers.
say about Down Under that it feels in a weird way more episodic than this one because this is like one story,
Mhm.
whereas Down Under is like we're doing this thing, now we're doing this thing which doesn't relate to that thing at all, and now we're doing this third thing which doesn't relate to that thing at all,
Hmm.
and eventually at the end they all come together, but like
Yeah.
only kind of.
Yeah.
No, that's just more of like the adventure side of things. This almost lacked some of that. Like for these to be adventurous mice, it was just like we're already in the bayou.
Yeah.
Welcome home. You know, and now we're just gonna see a girl go in a cave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Not to say this movie was like bad. It was just it was okay.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna be I'm probably closer to you on this one than a lot of people on this one. I'll score it at a 6.5. I think if we start at at least our general rule of thumb of animated films is that most of them just start at 7 because that's just kind of like a baseline.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
this one
And if you're saying that is this one,
below baseline?
it's below baseline. I think. So
sure is.
here's where I would say, like, we're talking about score, we're talking about plot, we're talking about characters, and it's just like some of the more interesting things about it is the plot that we don't get into. We're talking about the world building aspects of it. That part's neat. We're talking about some of the stuff that's fun whenever you talk about like mouse culture, which is just a new favorite phrase that
I
keeps
know.
tickling Annabeth.
Let's expand on that mouse culture
I
a little
know.
bit.
So we talk about all like the coolest parts, or like the parts that are left in the very first part of the first 10 minutes, and then we just kind of move on past it. And then we're getting to the middle part, and although the bird is fun, I will admit that part of the movie I'm with Mason is like the most boring part. Like we're just kind of moving locations and checking in with people before we get to like the stuff actually happening in the film. And that way, I feel like that the way that it's kind of padded out is not so great for a movie with a runtime as long as it is. I'm like, something about it being thin, and then saying like, yeah, I want more here. That's kind of like the definitive thing for me. So I was left wanting in a movie that otherwise I do enjoy. It's not bad. Down Under, again, my biggest crutch on this is maybe like, with so much time in front of it, we have a sequel that come out that has done the same thing but better. Now I can see what okay, this probably where at least above a 7 looks like if this movie was at a 7, and it's clearly under Down Under,
Mm.
you know, so we're talking about under baseline here, and then you know Down Under is probably higher. But don't look into the score thing on it. In essence, I would say I was left wanting more from this movie. With
Fell
it.
short on some of those boxes
Yeah.
that you normally check with an animated
But
movie.
definitely not without saying that this isn't a charming or fun one. The animation's good, and the character designs and everything like that is fun. The world's interesting. It's just I didn't get enough of it, and that's probably my biggest critique on it.
Mm.
Which is why the sequel turns out to be a lot more fun. We get more of what we liked out of it.
I don't understand why this didn't get like a Disney cartoon. Like they could have made a whole cartoon about the Rescue Aid Society
Yeah.
and all the different mice going on different missions. I would have loved that.
Instead, we got Tailspin,
Yeah,
which is pretty
it's
good.
not bad actually. It's pretty decent. Yeah,
It's got some similar vibes to it,
yeah,
and it uses
but
their more
mice.
iconic characters.
yeah.
But it could use
Chip and Dale,
mice.
Dale.
Rescue Rangers.
Rescue
So
Rangers.
is that not the same thing? Because I know Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's separate.
It's a separate thing.
So that, like,
But
I think
why?
that's
Mice.
why I think that's why you didn't get the Rescuers as a TV series, because there was also like already the Rescue Rangers with the characters they want to
Yeah.
highlight and bring up.
Yeah, that's true, but they're not mice.
No.
Wait, what are they in Chippendale?
Chippendales are
They're
like
chipmunks.
Chipmunks.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're still rodents. I mean, they're...
They
Yeah.
are still rodents, just not my rodents.
The
of
energy
choice.
of them is very, very different
Yeah.
from the energy of our leads and
Are
the
they more like
Rescuers.
Alvin and the
Do
Chipmunks kind of?
Chippendale talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're
You
they're a
never
lot more
watched the show?
kid funny versus like kind of like the I'm not gonna say noir, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like relatively
Oh,
speaking.
yeah.
Well, Dale especially is just like the very cut up, like silly laugh, like
Yeah.
always joking about everything.
I can imagine like a
Dale's
Pumbaa, kind of like in
Like
a
Yeah.
basically, you
Rocky.
got like the
Mhm.
cut up and the straight guy.
Yeah.
Is kind of the dynamic in that group, as opposed to the like, you know, fearless and the coward.
Mhm.
Right.
The Chippendale Rescue Rangers is the one where one of them's wearing like a red Hawaiian shirt and the
Yep.
other one's
Yes.
wearing like
Yeah, so
a bomber
it's supposed to be
jacket.
a play on
Magnum PI and
Mhm.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
Two
about
of my favorites.
Pinky
I
and the
should really watch
Brain.
Chippendale. What?
Pinky and the Brain. That was another mouse duo.
Yeah. So
I
a
really
straight
like
man and an
Pinky
idiot.
and the Brain.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, what Nathan was saying earlier about cutting up straight men or whatever, can you talk more about what your score is on this movie?
Yeah. How much blood was there?
Yeah.
Speaking of villainous, like, things,
Yeah.
we did not talk about at all what the villains actually wanted.
They wanted the diamond.
They wanted the diamond
they
in the
wanted,
skull. Yeah.
like a special diamond.
The specific diamond. They don't care about all
And
these
for
other
some
tools.
reason,
Yeah.
our rescuers decided to help Penny
Get the.
get the diamond
Yeah.
to assuage the villains.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's all they want. You know, they're probably just gonna leave her be.
Well,
Also,
and,
they
you
were
know-
gone whenever they had grabbed her and was basically throwing her
Mhm.
down under. Well, no, they were in
Can't
the
say
pocket.
that. That's
Yeah, no,
trademark
they
for
were
the next
in
movie.
They were their plan was to go down there with her.
Okay.
But also, I feel like if Madame Medusa had not kept a hold of the teddy bear,
Mhm.
she probably would have got away with the diamond.
Right.
Because it's only because Penny refused to let her take the teddy bear that things went to full chaos.
Although,
Like, had she just walked away,
Mhm.
she would have had the giant
Yep.
devil eye.
Devil, yeah.
Devil's
think-
Eye.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really quickly, if I was down in that cave for the record and I saw Madame Medusa, I would feel like I was in the Descent with all the like
Yes.
vampire monsters.
Yeah.
Because it feels like after like a day in there, that's what she turns into. You know what I mean?
hmm
Just wanted to plant that visual in your head. Anyways, score.
I mean, it's like a 6. It's fine. Yeah, it's above average, I guess, but it's not
Wasn't convinced.
like it's just overall. There's not a lot going on. Like, there's a couple of interesting characters, but Down Under is far and away a much better film
Yeah.
and has much cooler characters. And I like lizards better than I like mice.
Yeah.
There's 2 alligators in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brutus and
like,
Nero.
I said
Nero.
lizards. I did not say like I like alligators.
Yeah.
Alligators are lizards?
Those were the
Reptiles.
chunkiest alligators.
Yeah,
they
those
were
shells.
almost as wide as they were
Oh,
long.
and,
Uh-huh.
and Madame Medusa ends in Captain Hook fashion too. Like, talk about a
Mhm.
character that is just an amalgamation of other villains.
Yeah.
Her ending is just crocodiles trying to bite at her while
Yep.
she's like up
Stuck
on a
up
pole.
on a
Yeah.
staff, yeah.
Where she's about to get TikToked, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
She's about to do a TikTok dance.
yeah. I don't know TikTok dance, otherwise I would do one. But 34-year-olds shouldn't do TikTok dances. Anyways, Jill, pass the baton over to
I was
Danny.
gonna say.
Yeah.
I love mice and mice culture.
10 out of 10.
Mouse
No,
culture.
no, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a. I want to give it a really good score, but
Uh-oh.
Oh, but
There are
we
better mice
pointed out all of
movies.
the
We've humbled
flaws.
it though, and you
No,
can't,
I
you
mean,
can't
there's
unsee
just-
it.
there are better mice movies.
Alvin
But
and the
this is
Chipmunks.
still really
Stuart
good.
Little.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Five Goes West.
Those
That.
aren't mice.
Stuart Little.
We
Stuart
need
Little.
to
Rocky
teach
and
you what a
Bullwinkle?
mouse is.
Yeah, it's a
Bullwinkle.
rodent.
It's
That's a
squirrel.
raccoon and
He's
a
a rodent.
moose. Squirrel and a
And
moose.
And also, you said Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm pretty sure the error there is evident. They
Yeah,
are-
Alvin.
Rodents.
Rodents.
Okay.
Rodents.
I'm gonna give it a 7. It's
Oh.
definitely above average. But also there are other mice movies that are better, and I don't know. It's a real shame that we're comparing it against its sequel and being like, oh, but The Rescuers Down Under was so much better. But like, I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles
Yeah,
when you
things
get a
are
movie made in the
obviously.
90s. It is really good though, and it establishes like the mouse culture that The Rescuers Down Under builds on. So
That's the thing, you know, Down Under ran. This one walked.
this
so it
one
could
walked,
this
so
one
it
walked, so it
could
could do it.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one walked, so Down Under could fly on an albatross.
Mhm.
Fly on a golden eagle.
Fly on a
Excuse
golden
you.
eagle, yeah. Oh, they also flew on an albatross.
No one cares about that when you can see Cody flying on a giant golden eagle
That eagle.
Can we get a prequel for the Rescuers to be in
with
like
Euripides Mouse and the lion. Yeah, we can. Let's do that.
ideally, right? But I want it in Casablanca. Like
Yes.
I want it straight Casablanca through noir.
With my-
yeah.
I would be down for
Dude,
that.
remake every like classic.
Why don't we make
Well,
it? Why don't we do it with
animated
real
mice.
people too?
No, with animated mice.
The thing is, we're not far from this future because AI
Yeah,
definitely
with the
is
No.
a source.
AI.
No.
AI.
No.
You can just ask AI to, hey, can you remake this movie but with mice as the main characters?
You
I
can do that.
hate
and
it
You
you know
because
it's
I
coming.
would
And it'll
love
do
it,
it.
but
Yeah.
I'd hate it at the same
YouTube
time.
will just be an AI search bar that you,
just
type
feed it
in
the
what you want to
script,
watch.
Tell it who's
No.
playing the characters, what decade they're in, and you're gonna have a movie on your hands.
But I want the child to be played by Danny DeVito.
Oh my god.
Hey, get me out of here, guys! I'm stuck in the spiral. Jill, hit us up.
Yeah, what's your
5%.
score? Mine's a 7.
I really like this movie, but I also watched it a lot as a kid. I
Mhm.
like the vibe of the movie. I like that the opening is like all literal paintings where you can see like the canvas marks,
Mhm.
like they just painted a thing and just took a picture of it.
I did like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the vibe. I like that it's an old animated movie, but it doesn't compare to some of the other ones. So I agree. It's also a 7 for me.
Mm.
Solid. We have been so solid on our scores for your movies.
Like Down Under's better. Great Mouse Detective's probably better.
Oh, great mouse.
Yes!
Yeah.
My favorite
Secret
mouse
of Nim
movie.
is better.
Oh, The Secret of Nim is not better. The Secret of Nim is terrifying.
I like Secret
Once
of
Upon a
Nim.
Time in Mexico. There's at least one mouse in that movie.
Okay.
hmm Anyways, we don't do IMDb scores anymore because we just silently phased that out. So let's just go
How
ahead
did we?
and pull the
Yeah,
wheel.
We never even discussed it.
We
No.
got the wheel!
Alright, yeah, well, we gotta make room. Somebody has all these drinks on the
Nathan-
table.
Nathan
Mine's
fixed or raised
thematically
the wheel.
relevant.
Yeah, I'm
Nathan-
convinced that thing's gonna roll off.
Do
now.
the first spin. My fingers.
Oh yeah, I love its creaking.
The creak.
Whenever it comes to a halt.
Hey, what do you know?
What a scam! It went to his slice.
I
Yeah,
knew
Nathan
it.
rigged it.
The longest name, is that a pun
Okay,
on
so-
is that a pun on your last
No.
Is it about whales?
That y'all are here for a trip.
name? Oh, my
Oh,
god.
great.
I
no.
think I've not even seen it yet. I gotta look it
Oh,
up to get the
great.
right name because I put
Oh,
the
so
name
long.
in here and then realized that it's longer than I thought it was.
Oh,
It's the
god.
longest name.
It is such a long name.
Is it something about
Brit-
the wizards again?
No.
Is it Bridge of
Was it
Terabithia?
made in the 80s?
That's not even that long.
Probably.
Let's
That
see.
would've been the main
It
one.
was made in the 80s.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Oh my god. Is this
That has
animated?
everything you like.
This is live action.
What is this?
What is it? Oh yeah, that's an 80s movie.
Hell, look at that guitar.
What's the runtime on this movie? Real quick. you
Oh,
know.
Yeah, how long is it?
Tell me
Can't
this
be
is
that
2 hours
long.
and 15 minutes.
No, there's no chance.
It's an hour 43.
They didn't make them over 2 hours.
This
back
is
then.
The only reason I'm aware of this movie is because I was watching a YouTuber talking about like very weird, like kind of game console sort of stuff. And at one point he was talking about how there were DVD players that could play games, but there
Yeah.
were only ever 4 movies that had that on their DVD as a feature, and this was one of those 4
There's
movies.
no way.
The other one was Dr. Dolittle 2.
Sounds
So,
more
weird
profound.
company.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You have to put that one in the chat. I don't think I'm gonna be able to remember.
Yeah.
and real
yeah.
quick, can you just check on Just Watch where
Yeah,
we
where
can
are we
even find this
supposed to
movie?
find
I'm gonna watch
this?
this movie.
I bet guaranteed it's on
That's not my
Plex.
problem.
It's on Tubi.
God, Tubi and
Plex.
Plex.
Oh, okay.
Guaranteed.
Tubi's
Well, let me
free.
log into your account so I can watch
They're
it.
free.
I know. I want to log into your account because I know you made one.
They're free, and you'll watch 36 ads by the end of it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
actually, I did look it up beforehand. It's free on Tubi, Pluto,
Oh, Pluto's another free one.
Roku. I think it was also on what's the Hoopla? I think it was on.
Hoopla.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not showing on there now.
Support
but
your
it's,
local library.
Yeah.
It's
Who
quite
I can actually
reachable.
watch. The rest of that crap, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tubi and
Anyways,
Pluto
while
are
Nathan
free.
copies that
I don't
in,
wanna deal with that. Can I just use your account?
They're free.
Maybe you can find it on VHS.
oh god, I hope not.
Maybe you can find the DVD with the game on it.
Clearly,
Yes.
that's what we actually need to do.
That would be fun,
I would
actually.
need to have a DVD player that actually
Oh
plays
yeah,
games.
your DVD player doesn't even work.
Well, that's
I
fine.
had one of those ones.
It
There's a
does work.
PlayStation
You can-
3.
you
The
go-
DVD player?
I think.
I'm pretty sure
You
we
think?
I
tested
think,
it
I
and
think
it
you'd
didn't.
need a remote for it.
Oh,
Surely-
maybe that's what it was.
Surely, like a
program
PS2
for
could do
remote.
it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You
oh,
just-
you mean no. It was
Didn't
a
you try the
specific
DVD player and
thing.
it didn't work?
Oh, it's very
It
specific.
was very
Right.
specific. Only a couple of DVD
Sure.
players
You
had
really
that as a
tried it.
feature. I forget
Did
what
I?
it was even
Yeah.
called.
Huh.
I bet it wasn't even
I
like
don't know
a
about
Philips or
I
you know
definitely
No.
did
Panasonic or
there,
anything. I
so-
bet it was an
Well,
obscure
I used
company.
the
Yeah.
Xbox.
Well,
last
they
night
only
when I
managed to
watched
get
a
4
movie.
Well,
DVDs
so-
produced, and
'Cause I thought
Buckeye.
that DVD player
That's one of them.
Banzai,
25%.
was
We're the
one
one
of
who
them.
said
Right.
you tried it. and it
So,
didn't
anyways, make sure
Maybe
to
it's just
tune in
not.
next week for the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension.
Yeah.
I feel like the content we're doing always, as always, let us know what you think below. What DVD player plays fucking video games that isn't just a game console? If you know that trivia fact, please let us know in the comments below. Do you think mouse culture is underrated, overrated, or properly rated?
What object from the human world would you use as a mouse, and how would
spool.
you use it?
They were able to hit it like the gavel.
Yeah,
Mm.
I personally would like to use a spoon for just about everything: surfboard, weightboard,
That would be
anything.
cool. A wakeboard kind of.
Yeah.
action. You
Yeah.
could, like,
Right.
sit on it.
Something to cook meth on. Anyway,
You
so
could go with a spork, so you get some
yeah,
stabbing
sport.
action too. if
Always
you
the
need
best
it.
of both worlds.
Yeah.
As if you enjoyed the content we're doing, as always, make sure to give us a big fat thumbs up so you know that we're supporting us, and make sure to hit the subscribe channel. We're not at 420 yet, so until we are,
Soon.
keep going up. Hit that sub button, and then the next time we will catch you with that movie with the 8th dimension one. I'm not going to repeat again.
Are we gonna hit the bell?
No, we don't do that anymore. We hit Jill.
That's
Make sure to hit that bell so you know that next time the video comes out. Until then, guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Buy you guys a bell.